Distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, partners, and delegates from across Africa and beyond, it gives me great joy to welcome you today to the International Training Transfer Effectiveness Conference. We call it ITTEC 2025. VJ, that's what I call her, Beautiful Biology, and the Optimizer, they made you know that this is the first of its kind here. We've never had any conference that is talking about return on investment and return on expectation. Not in Africa, not globally, not in the world. I know some of us may not know what training transfer effectiveness means. However, today, you would know what it means. Training transfer effectiveness has to do with helping businesses show return on investment and return on expectation for all their training investment. Today, we have not just gathered for another learning event. We have gathered to make history. My journey into training transfer effectiveness began with one persistent question. And there's always somebody, she doesn't like me calling her up. However, I will call her up again because she's part of my story. Why do people attend training and nothing changes? That was the question. Why? Just think about it. Why do people attend training after paying so much? I'm going to give I'm a very practical person, so I give examples. So I'm going to use a very practical example. A friend of mine, a GM of HR in one of the oil and gas organizations, we were having a conversation when I was telling him about ROE, return on expectation. He said, Sandra, this thing that you're talking, that his MD spoke to him, I think 2 weeks before I called him. I said, oh boy, those people where we send go Harvard, how far, where the returns? For those that are not Nigerians, let me break that down. He said, oh boy, how can I break down oh boy? Melanie, oh boy means, okay, my friend, yeah, okay. He said, so they sent some, the senior leadership, they sent them to Harvard. And each of them, they paid $60,000 for each of them. And he was asking him, how far, what are the returns from that, for sending them? He said, Sandra, I was just staring at the man because really, these are senior big guys. They needed, it's their turn. They needed to go to Harvard. So he didn't have any answer. So when I discussed this with him, he said, come and do this implant for my people. Let's have it implant. So a lot of us go for training and we come back, nothing changes. You've wasted the organization's time. You've wasted resources. You've wasted money. Then for we that are like trainers, you've wasted our own time too. And that's where the spark started. And I found out that years ago, I would walk into organizations. First of all, of course, from my background, from where I started my banking career with Citizens International Bank, for those that know Citizens then. From there, I moved to ExxonMobil. From ExxonMobil, I moved to Shenik Bank. So in all those places, I still kept seeing those things, whereby I was even the head of operations in the Oceanic Leadership Academy. We call it OLA. I was head of operations for OLA, Oceanic Leadership Academy. We send people on training, nothing. Every year, we keep doing the same thing. We keep recycling. It's your turn. This time, this one is your turn. This is your turn. Turn by turn. There are some training that are turn by turn. And there are some training that are according to your level. If you're not on that level, you will not go for that training. So these were realities. It bothered me so much that I began a personal research journey. From evaluation models, to frameworks, to transfer science, to root cause analysis, to application psychology, and slowly the pieces began to fit. This journey was a journey I started since 2010. Today is what? 2025. That is 15 years ago that I started this journey. Thank you. So in 2010, I started developing what I didn't know at the time would become a global innovation. You know, just like I said, I started with Joker. We started with Excel sheets, using Excel. I knew about Kirkpatrick, trying to do it, doing it on my own, and I didn't know what to do. I just was reading and trying. I was doing, you know, when you use clients like LabRat, I just kept trying it on clients because I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know about the Kirkpatrick certification. I just knew what I'd read, so I just kept practicing with that. And what I noticed is that a pattern engaged. So through the years of training delivery, coaching, consulting, failures, successes, and experiments across multiple industries, micro, small, medium, and large businesses. A pattern emerged, and guess the pattern I found out? Training doesn't really fail because people don't want to learn. That was not why training was failing. Training failed because there was no system ensuring that those that learned applied what they learned. I will take that again. Training doesn't fail and didn't fail because people didn't want to learn. No, people wanted to learn. But rather, there was no system in place that ensured that those people, what they learned, they applied it. And that was the pattern I found out. And that gave the birth to what I call the Training Transfer Effectiveness Operating System. It is Africa's first integrated operating system for ensuring that training results in real measurable performance improvement. And that is why we are here today. We are here because of the operating system, Training Transfer Effectiveness Operating System, that was designed for Africa and for in Africa and beyond Africa for those that want to use it. So it houses 2 models and a framework. The MVP model, which validates if really training is the intervention. The PDP model to engineer transfer even before, during, and after training. And the Training Transfer Effectiveness Sustainability Framework to sustain change and measure return on investment and return on expectation over time. This innovation was officially copyrighted in Nigeria this year, 2025. So it is African-born, African-tested, African-proven, yet it's relevant globally. So what started as one woman's frustration, that was my frustration, became a weekly webinar. So since January this year, we've been offering webinars for free every Thursday. If you go to our YouTube channel, we have over 30 videos. And when I'm taking my session, Eric from Ghana has watched the whole videos and is using it. I said, Eric, you've not paid me for using what you're using in Ghana. So Eric is going to join me when I'm speaking about that. So a weekly webinar series reaching thousands, a mastermind program shaping practitioners across Africa, breakfast meetings in Ghana, Nigeria, Rwanda, and other African countries, a growing network of training transfer effectiveness ambassadors and advocates, and a 6-year mandate from now to 2030. We've decided to make training transfer effectiveness a standard, not an exception. It will be a standard in African businesses, in African organizations, and it starts with each and every one of you sitting here in this room. And now, today, history is being made. The historical global conference, ITTEC 2025. We did not stumble into this moment. We built it for the past 15 years. Year after year, brick by brick, conviction by conviction. ITTEC was born from a simple but urgent conviction. Training must lead to transformation, not training scrap. Africa must stop funding activity and start measuring impact. So ITTEC exists to help your organization, your businesses, shift from training as a tick box, shift from training as an annual routine, shift from training without accountability, to training as a performance strategy, training as an investment with returns, training as a driver of productivity, profitability, and growth. Today marks the moment where Africa starts bold and says, we will no longer train for activity. We will train for transformation. This conference, your presence here, signals the rise of a new standard. A standard where training transfer effectiveness becomes the heartbeat of every HR person, every L&D person, every leadership, and every business strategy. I want to thank every speaker, partner, and delegate in this room. Your presence today is not ordinary. It is strategic. It is historic. Together, we are shaping the future of learning across Africa. Together, we are building a legacy. As we begin ITTEC 2025, I ask you, come with an open mind. Those physically, those joining us virtually, come with an open mind. Come with a curious spirit and a willingness to challenge everything you thought you know about training. Yes. These 2 days, I want you to challenge everything. Ask us questions. Go and ask ChatGPT. Get questions and ask the speakers, the guest speakers. Yeah, we are ready for you. Ask every question you want to ask. Because today is not just a conference. Today is a movement. And you, every one of you, are now part of Africa's Training Transfer Effectiveness Revolution. Welcome to ITTEC 2025. Welcome to transformation. Welcome to history in the making. Thank you, everyone.